Man.
So you set up in this whorehouse, and how long did you actually do the show for?
We lasted 21 days, and mainly because we didn't want to go to Long Binh, which was the prison in Vietnam. They were really after us. The base commander, I don't know whether you played that little snippet yet, but the base commander was not a big fan of Radio First Termer or Dave Rabbit. He made it a vow to find me and toss my rabbit buttocks into the prison system. And I just, there was something about the prison life that just didn't appeal to me. So even though we had military police and officers and lifers that were actually protecting us, we had to shut it down. There was just no way we could have continued on more than 21 days. And so we demolished everything. We gave the equipment to Madam Ho, and then we got rid of everything, burned everything. Where there was no trace that connected us to the show. And we walked out the back door of Madam Ho's house and never looked back.
Yeah, you were saying some ballsy stuff for back then and for being in the military especially and broadcasting to the military. I'm sure they didn't really enjoy some of the stuff you were saying about the lifers and the brass and whatnot.
Well, the officers, there's always a percentage of them that couldn't take a joke, as well as the lifers, but you would be real surprised how many huge fans we had that were in the officer ranks as well as the top military ranks of the regular stripers.
So you did this radio show for 3 weeks, and were you surprised that the tapes had gone out all over the world?
I tell you what really blew me away. As I say, we walked out on the 21st of January of 71 and never looked back. In the summer of 1982, I'm at a party here in Dallas, and I'm talking to this guy, and we're just, shooting the breeze, and it turns out he was in the Army in Germany, Wiesbaden in Germany. And he said, well, what did you do? I said, I was in Vietnam. He said, hey, did you ever hear of Dave Rabbit? I said, yeah. And he goes, well, man, he says, that guy really ruled. Did you listen to him live? I said, yeah, I really did. And then one thing led to another, and I said, well, you're not going to believe this, but I'm Dave Rabbit. And he goes, nah, you're not Dave Rabbit. And so I did, I remembered a couple of the bits, about the toothpick in the toilet and the crabs pole vaulting and stuff. And so I kind of did that. And he says, oh, my God. And he actually hits the floor and starts bowing down to me. And I'm going, what is all this about? He says, man, you're a legend in Germany. I'm going, how am I a legend in Germany? Because I'm thinking, the last show we did was the 21st of January, 71. This is 82. How can I be a legend in Germany? And then that's when I found out that somebody recorded one of the shows. And I have a good idea that it was the radio relay guys that were bumping our signal throughout Cambodia, Laos, and
wow.
Southeast Asia.
All illegally, by the way.
Yeah,
that took balls on their
world,
part. Yeah.
Yeah, and so that's when I first found out that a show existed. And February 9th, 2006, I get on the internet. The kids wanting to know stuff about Vietnam, and I'm, Googling, which I never do. I hate to Google. Well, occasionally on Friday nights I like Googling, but only if I have a bar of soap. Anyway, so what happens is that I get on the internet. And I find this site that says audio clips from Vietnam, and I'm thinking, okay, cool. And I see when it says Radio First Termer. Well, I click on it, then I find Will Snyder's site, who created the original Dave Rabbit home, and get on that and see that he has these clips. And then I start Googling and find AboveTopSecret.com, which is my family right now that I have with the ATS Mix Show. And then one thing leads to another. And it's just been a crazy, crazy ride. It really has.
Yeah, because, when I found out you only did 21 shows, that amazed me. Obviously, the people that taped these things thought it was so unusual and so different and so cool that they obviously wanted to trade them and give them to other people. And then that's where this whole thing grew. Because no one gets popular from doing 21 radio shows. No one.
Well, I did.
No, I understand that, but
That means live, like it's all
Dave,
like
Oh yeah.
Dave, that was actually a compliment. Like, no one just does 21 shows and that's it. I mean, you obviously had something. You basically had the voice of the soldiers. That's why they could relate to you, and that's why this thing becomes a phenomenon, because they're like, wow, you got to hear this tape. We all remember when we were a lot younger, if we heard something really cool, you could say Jerky Boys or whatever, you wanted to pass this tape on to others. And that's how this whole thing ended up just becoming huge.
Yeah, and it's one of those things to where, you get something and you pass it on to a buddy and kind of thing. And that's really how it grew. I mean, conservatively, we have 23 million military and civilian fans worldwide right now. I mean, strictly from, them finding the internet, they finding the stuff on the websites and stuff, and strictly, passing it on to somebody. It gives you a great idea of how grassroots movements can really be very effective.
Right.
What did you do when you came back from Vietnam? What happened with your life? Did you do radio? Did you pursue it at all?
No, and here's the weird thing. I came back home. My family had a business here in Dallas. My dad and mom were not of the best health, and so I took that over and kind of put my radio career on hold. And then when I got involved with AboveTopSecret.com and my partners, Simon Gray, Mark Allen, Stephen Melzer, Bill Irwin, and, of course, my partner, Johnny Anonymous, we started the ATS Mix Show about 8 months ago and started doing a podcast. And then, one thing led to another, and the show got real popular, and we got huge fan base going. And now, as I told E-Rock yesterday, we're on the verge of going nationwide syndication in the next 3 or 4 months. So it's a pretty amazing ride. 37 years later, but...
Yeah, so you walk away from radio 37 years ago, which obviously you had the passion to do it. That had to kill you, and you only got back into it 8 months ago?
Well, actually, yeah, we started the show 8 months ago, right?
And you didn't do any radio in between for the most part?
No.
Oh,
no.
my God, that's amazing.
What kind of work did you do?
Well, I don't want to tell too much about that because everybody will be going on the doors. I sold my business actually last May and decided to do this full time, and that's kind of I took a leap of faith. I figured, if I'm going to do this at 59, boys, I know you were using your calculators trying to figure out how old I am.
Yeah.
But at 59, I figured, if I'm going to do it, I got to go do it now. So I sold my business and really turned my back. But basically, to answer your question, it was just a business that was in marketing. I was in marketing in a general degree.
Have you kept your identity private for all these years about who Dave Rabbit's real name?
Oh yeah. In fact, when I went to AboveTopSecret.com originally, when I Googled it, and I thought, what the heck is AboveTopSecret.com? And I click, and this guy by the name of John Jeremiah, and his post is still there on the site. He thinks I'm a conspiracy theory of the government, and that the United States government put me in Saigon to, for some kind of war effort kind of thing. And I'm thinking, this is nuts. This is crazy. And from that, a love affair began between me and AboveTopSecret.com because I lovingly call it Disneyland for nuts. But, boy, it's just so much more than that,
Yeah, it looked like you guys were having a great time.
Why do you keep it, why do you not want to reveal who you are?
Well, one reason is that, my wife, Bunny, and my son, Jack, and Peter, and of course, Babs and Bugs, it's amazing how many people will see me on the street and they don't have a clue who I am. See, I like going in my life in stealth mode.
I kind of like that. I don't know who you really are.
Well, that's the mystique about it. If everybody knew, that I'm really, George Stephanopoulos with ABC Radio, that would really blow the whole thing, they just couldn't identify with that.
It's actually Rush Limbaugh's alter ego.
I love that.